Okay. So this is the lateral view of the sheep brain. The things you can see are the frontal lobe right in the front. Underneath that is the olfactory bulb. That's the one on the edge, and then the bulb follows into the olfactory tract. So the frontal lobe's here, and then the parietal lobe is up here, followed by the temporal lobe on the side over here, and lastly the occipital lobe in the back. Here is the cerebellum, and below the cerebellum we know we have the pons, and below the pons is the medulla. Above the pons would be the midbrain, and this connective tissue that's directly connected to the brain is the pia mater. And lastly, ending off the medulla is the spinal cord, which is kind of detached on this one. Bing, bing, bing. Lastly, what is this? So we also have the parahippocampal cortex, which is seen right below the temporal lobe. And
where is it again?
It's right below the temporal lobe. And then the cerebral peduncle, which are, I guess, right here. So since the cerebral peduncles are in the midbrain, that's what's shown in the diagram.
Okay.
So that's the lateral view. So now if we want to get a medial view of it, so this is the medial view. So the most obvious things to see are the cerebellum, right? And then underneath the cerebellum and in between the pons, right here is the fourth ventricle. Inferior to the pons is the medulla, down here. And then we know that superior to the pons is the midbrain. And so,
wait, where'd you say the pons was?
So it's always right below the cerebellum. So then the midbrain should be up here.
Okay.
The midbrain is made of the tectum, which is composed of the superior and inferior colliculi.
Okay.
And it's also the tegmentum, which is the circular part. So this whole square is the midbrain.
Okay.
So going superiorly, we also have the thalamus, which is like the bigger circle we see in the middle of the medial view of the brain. And below that should be the hypothalamus. We also have the optic chiasm, which is seen below the hypothalamus, and that's basically where visual information crosses to the opposite eye and goes to the back of the brain, to the occipital lobe. We also can see this corpus callosum. It has 3 parts to it. So the front part is called the genu, the larger part is called the trunk, and the end of it is called the splenium. And then following the end, so it should be below the end of the corpus callosum, should be the pineal body. And and below the corpus callosum, we should see the fornix. And so where the lateral ventricle is, there is a clear covering called the septum pellucida. I don't know if this one has it, but it should be like a clear covering that basically separates the 2 lateral ventricles. And I think that is everything for the medial view of the sheep brain. So let me see.
Yeah, okay, good. So you're at 1:30. Wait, what is that? You're right out on a circle. Real left, you're coming. Real left. Good Lord. What's scared? What are you doing?
Yeah, so that's basically it.
Can you turn it back on the other side for 1 second so I can get all close? Might as well point out the gyri.
The gyri? Oh, okay. So these like dark black lines would be the sulci, the grooves, and then the ridges would be the the gyri.
Okay.
You walked it first without your eyes closed.